This next segment is a follow-up on the main video I did for my main channel. If you haven't seen it, check it out, youtube.com/timcast. Joe Scarborough goes on an epic rant against woke Democrats because, look, you guys watch my show. You know what my opinion is. The woke Democrats are destroying any chance for any Democrat to come up with sane policy and actually beat the Republicans and beat Donald Trump, which is why I'm very critical of them. It's like their only plan so far is Donald Trump, or is Orange Man bad? So Joe Scarborough goes on this rant, and I mentioned it a little bit, but I want to go through it in more detail. And I want to show you some of the biggest absurdity about what's happening with the Nike situation. So for those that aren't familiar, Nike was going to do an American flag shoe for the 4th of July. They pulled it because Colin Kaepernick complained. This sets off Joe Scarborough, and it sets off a bunch of other people to say very, very dumb things. So let's get into it. Before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate. You can, where you can support my work. There's a PayPal option, a crypto option, a physical address. But of course, just share the video if you like it because YouTube no longer suggests my content. The story reads, MSNBC's Morning Joe host, Joe Scarborough, says he broke every rule he made for himself on Twitter today by posting a 6-tweet venting in which he beseeched woke Democrats to refrain from blowing themselves up politically and re-electing Donald Trump. What set him off? Betsy, Ross, and Nike, apparently. His first post of the morning, this in a week when he and co-host Micah Brzezinski are away from the show, was, quote, "The Betsy Ross flag is now a symbol of white nationalism and slavery, not defiance against a distant monarchy. Really, Nike? PC madness is accelerating just in time for 2020. Trump feeds on your reflexive wokeness. Great job, everybody." Then, and you can see the actual tweets below, but just in case Scarborough follows through with his pledge to delete, we'll transcribe them here verbatim. Democratic candidates now support 1. Universal health care for illegal immigrants. 2. Making illegally crossing America's borders legal. And 3. A return to forced busing. Do you also now support the banning of the Betsy Ross flag from public places? Hashtag woke nation. And, quote, "Let me disabuse woke Democrats of the notion that I expect them to adjust their beliefs and strategies to suit former Republicans. But I do want them to refrain from blowing themselves up politically and re-electing Trump." From there, he continued, "But y'all be y'all and lose another election to Trump that you should have won and start by continuing to fight those who want him beaten just as badly." He said, "I started going to the White House and working around presidents and prime ministers at an early age. I led a coup to drive Gingrich out as speaker in my 30s and spent time around leaders I greatly respected. Trump never raided with those leaders. Thrilled? Not even close. Stop setting yourself on fire. Just beat Trump. I don't ride tigers. Fear not, I don't get eaten." And then he goes on to say, "Enough venting. I have broken every rule I made for myself on Twitter. I'm now going to delete these tweets over the past hour and tell those who I've gone back and forth with that we all want to vote Trump out of office next year. Everything else is a distraction. Hashtag beat Trump. Speaking of distractions, ride tigers." And so we can see he links to the Wall Street Journal story where the Betsy Ross flag was removed. Now, they do show all his tweets, and I think that's the gist of the story. But here's the thing. It's not just about Joe Scarborough getting angry. It's about the fact that Democrats don't live in reality anymore. And I'm not trying to be a dick, but I don't see how you can claim otherwise. They really believe Twitter is real life. It's not. Twitter is like a tiny subsection of fringe activists who have gained prominence through being outraged all the time. So what is Beto O'Rourke doing? Check out this tweet from Ben Jacobs. Beto on the Nike Betsy Ross flag controversy, quote, "I think it's really important to take into account the impression that kind of symbol would have for many of our fellow Americans. Respect the decision Nike made and grateful for the conversation that is provoking." Excuse me. He goes on to say, Beto had noted that, quote, "The version of the flag that was used on Nike shoes in question has, by some extremist white national groups, been appropriated." No! Oh my God! No, you people have lost your minds. You know what, man? This is not true. It was some ridiculous article, I can't remember which nonsense woke far-left outlet wrote it, where they claimed like one white nationalist guy was flying the flag, therefore it is a white nationalist symbol. No, please, you have lost your goddamn minds. Look at this photo. It's Barack Obama's inauguration. There's the flag. These people are absolutely insane. I went on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I defended conservatives' right to free speech. And, I really felt like I was standing on principle, and that there were going to be a lot of Democrats and people on the left, people I knew who were like, why are you defending conservatives, Tim? It's not what happened. It's not. Listen, conservatives have a right to free speech. The platforms are biased. I acknowledge that. These Democrats are chasing after a woke nonsense narrative because the platforms won't police the psychopaths on the left. This is what you get. And the Democrats are going to lose. I'd almost believe that Jack Dorsey is a Donald Trump supporter. Because everything he's doing is making sure the path is being paved by allowing these lunatics on the left to say whatever they want. Listen, you ban the conservatives. You shouldn't do that. They have free speech. But that leaves only clean-cut, presentable conservatives. When you don't ban the left, the insanity breeds into the mind, infects the minds of Democrats who then say this kind of nonsense. So I went on the Joe Rogan podcast. I defended the free speech. And what happens afterwards? I get hit up by some professional skateboarders who are like, yo, Tim, so cool to see you on the Joe Rogan podcast. Love your content. And that's crazy to me. I'm thinking like, whoa, wait, what? Skateboarders tend to be lefty progressive hippies. Why are they? Oh, is it that skateboarders love freedom? Is that why I'm a very freedom-oriented individual? And I kid you not. I go to the skate park the other day. I meet a couple people who are like, oh man, you're Tim Pool. I was surprised skateboarders knew who I was. And it turns out in this group of people, they all kind of agreed. The Democrats are losing their minds. They're not Republicans by any stretch of the means. You'd be hard-pressed, in my opinion, to find a large group of Republican skateboarders. They exist. Of course they do. They're conservative skateboarders. But skateboarders tend to be like hippies, left-leaning. I went to a skate park and I got threatened by a bunch of Antifa-type skateboarders, and I thought that was probably what was going to happen. The reason I bring this up is that the people I really thought would be on the left and aligned with the Democrats aren't. The people who watch my content end up being very similar to me politically, not really Republican, kind of on the left. And they're looking at the same thing. So when I call this out, listen, no, it is not a white nationalist symbol. It is the American flag. For the love of all that is holy, it is the flag. It is a symbol of fighting back against a distant monarchy that was oppressing people. It's a symbol of opposing oppression. And now we can see just how insane the Democrats have gotten. They're acting like these weirdos on Twitter who are saying weird things. Look, this, I kid you not, I want to punch the camera. This is how angry I got. When Beto O'Rourke said that this version of the flag was being used by white nationalists, I'm just like, you people are literally insane. Beto O'Rourke, this sheer idiocy and ignorance has made me angrier than I've been in a long time. Like, how insane do you have to be to believe this psychosis? And the Democrats are being dragged down. So the root of this it's really simple. The social media networks are allowing the psychopaths to say whatever they want. But you know what? They're allowed to say it. It's their free speech. Well, this is them crashing and burning. They are lighting themselves on fire, as Joe Scarborough said. The woke Democrats are ensuring the Democrats never win again. Man, I have no idea what's going to happen in 2024. Because look, where we're at right now, the path is paved for Trump. Trump's going to win. I cannot imagine. You could have Beto O'Rourke come out and say the American flag is being used by white nationalists. Are you nuts? Have you lost your mind? What do you think Americans are going to think when they go to vote? Like, oh, these people are crazy. Giving healthcare to illegal immigrants? The American flag is a symbol of white nationalism? Sorry, I'm not going to vote for that. So what do you think happens? Trump wins. I can't imagine what's going to happen in 2024. I can't see the Democrats pulling any kind of recovery from this. It's possible that all of the woke far-left Democrats destroy their careers, and then we move into 2024 and we get more moderates again. But I don't know. I really don't. Maybe the Democrats do wake up a far-left base. Listen, Trump lit up portions of this country that hadn't voted before. It's possible the Democrats do the same thing. That's what they're trying to do. I think it's a losing strategy because a lot of Republicans reluctantly vote for Trump. They're like, ugh, he's moved, into a different area. It's like Reagan, Democrats, whatever you want to call it. Fine, I'll vote for him anyway. They have a lot of conservatives who are like, okay, I'll vote for Trump. But then you have moderates who vote for Trump. So the point is, people on the far right will reluctantly vote for Trump. Moderates will reluctantly vote for Trump. But what do you get with the Democrats? Moderates aren't going to vote for you. You're going to get the far left and the left Democrats. And then what about the moderates? They're going to vote for Trump. You lose. So what happens come 2024? Beto O'Rourke actually believed this insanity. When you get Joe Scarborough of MSNBC coming out and saying you've lost the plot, I'm sorry, you have. I know he's a former Republican. I get it. And he brings that up. But he's not wrong. The Democrats have just gone absolutely insane. You know, I can make 1,000,001 videos on this, but there it is. Beto O'Rourke saying the flag. Stick around. More segments to coming up in a few minutes. I will see you shortly.